In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance and benefit of setting your own bar when it comes to miniature painting. Hey fellow junkies, it's Jared here. This is going to be a short video and I'm going to try not to get too new age on you and too philosophical, but I actually think there's something kind of important here that I hope you guys can want to think about as you start to either get into the hobby, or as you're sort of reaching certain milestones or plateaus throughout your progress in painting miniatures and things like that, and working with models. And that's this idea of, establishing why you're painting miniatures. I know it sounds really flaky, but what is your bar? There's a spectrum here, right? So it could be that you're all the way at a point where you just want to buy the plastic models, cut them off the sprues, assemble them, and put them on the table to play war games. Super, totally okay. That's like nothing wrong with that, except for maybe your opponent might not like it as much, but it's fine. It's totally fine, especially if that's what you want to do. And you may not even like clean the mold lines off those things and stuff like that, because that's not what you're looking for. The spectrum goes all the way up to being like this world-class, incredible, household name kind of painter, like Angel Heraldez or Painting Buddha? I don't know. I'm not sure who else. But point being, Jen Haley, these people who can win a crystal brush competition or have like multiple Slayer swords, guys like David Soper, just going to name drop like crazy here. But anyway, that is way on the other end of that spectrum. So all along that spectrum are different levels of effort, levels of spending money, of cost, spending money, levels of time commitment, time being a big thing, especially, maybe as you get older, you have a family. And so what you want to do is think, why am I painting miniatures? Is it to play board games with cool looking figures? Is it to play war games and feel good about my army? Is it to pass the 3-color thing for a tournament? Is it just because I really enjoy it and I like putting my work online and I want to see what people think? All of those are good. Now, the reason it's good to think about that and step back and think, what are your objectives and why do you want to put paint on models, is once you establish that and you understand, you get comfortable with like what is the level of quality that you're willing to or trying to get from yourself and trying to get from your efforts. Take a breath. Then you can start to think about, okay, then do I need a permanent workspace? Can I just have like a project box that I take to the kitchen table and paint once in a while, or sit on the couch and paint? Or do I have like a whole room dedicated to this stuff? What kind of tools do I need? As far as cleaning, do I need knives and drills and all that kind of stuff? Or just, super basic stuff for scraping mold lines off? And like, what kind of paints? Don't ever buy craft paints, however, but do you need to buy like all the highest end paints you can find and like have hundreds of them? Or do you need to buy, a few paints that are the colors you're going to use in a particular board game or something like that? It goes on and on. It also kind of gets into like, who are the people you learn from? Who are the tutorials on YouTube or on blogs that you're going to follow? For example, at one point I think I was on Patreon for, let's just, one of the really, really good painters that paint like the, figures and busts and things like that. And the truth is, he was so good that I was not getting anything out of it, because I'm like, I'm never going to put that much time into my miniatures. I just don't have it. I don't have a desire to paint that at that level, and that's okay. And I kind of like, unsubscribed or whatever, because it just wasn't making sense. Whereas if I look at someone like the Wargamer or Miniac or some of these other sort of really, really good painters, but they're like achievable and they're delivering really great tips for saving time and achieving great things, that's where my bar's at. My bar is, I want to put great models on the table when I game, and I want people to look at them and say, man, that looks awesome, your figures look great, or can I look at those? And honestly, I think they also enjoy playing against an army that looks good. That's my bar. And because of that, that's how I know how much time I put into my miniatures. That's why I cut a lot of corners. That's why I use a lot of fast techniques that I'll be doing, showing you guys in future videos and stuff like that, because if you follow my channel, then you'll sort of see how I paint miniatures, not how Duncan on the Warhammer TV paints miniatures, which is also super awesome. So I would say spend time thinking about that, on your drive to work, or when you're out for a walk, or you're, trying to fall asleep, whatever it is. Think about why you're getting into the hobby, or why you're in the hobby today, what the quality bar is that you kind of need to hit to feel good about that you're sort of painting miniatures that can serve the purpose you need them for, and then start to think about, okay, knowing that, what do I think I need from tutorials and from buying equipment and things like that to kind of start to achieve that. And again, maybe if you've been sort of stagnating, you've been painting for a long time and you're starting to hit a point where you want to start to raise that bar and start to ask more from yourself, and maybe start to go to competitions and stuff, then you start to seek out the better painters and look at what they're doing and how much time they're investing, what are the techniques they're using, so that you can then up your game. So I think that is a foundational way of looking at this that would set the tone and context for a lot of what I'm going to show you in future videos, which is that learning how to paint kind of at my bar, if that bar is kind of close to yours. All right, we'll see you next time.